Okay, so the 4.6 number 6 is throwing a cotangent back at us. So remember, there really is no such thing as amplitude for tangent and cotangent. It's about how steep your S-shaped curve is. And so what you're going to find is that if a normal S-shaped curve is kind of look like that, 1/9 is going to really widen out near the middle of the S, I guess. The midline is still at 0, so the middle of the S would be right on the x-axis. Now the b value is 1, but remember, we're back to the tangent cotangent rules. Tangent cotangent rules. So the period will be pi divided by 1, which is just pi, and then the CP or spacing is period divided by 2, which is just pi over 2. And then we do have a phase shift in this case, so that's x plus pi, so set that equal to 0. And if you basically move it to the other side, you end up with a negative pi. So let's just do a quick sketch. So if I go to the left negative pi, and then I add a half, right? So you can go to your calculator and just now -1 plus a half, then add a half, and you just keep hitting math enter, enter, and putting pi back in. So negative pi plus a half would put me at negative pi over 2. And if I add another negative pi over 2, I'd land on 0. And if I add another 0, I'd land on pi over 2. And if I add another pi over 2, I'd land on pi. So I have 5 critical values. And then cotangents, remember, go up to the left. So cotangent will go up to the left, down to the right. And then they also go asymptote 0, asymptote 0, and they just keep alternating. So my very first critical value would be an asymptote. Then the next one is a 0. Then the next one is an asymptote. Then the next one is a 0. Then the next one is an asymptote. And we can go there now and go up to the left, down to the right, in between those critical values. So something like that. And then we need to go and look at which graph probably is working here. So I need to find one that has a 0 at negative pi over 2. So at negative pi over 2, that one has an asymptote. At negative pi over 2, that one has an asymptote. At negative pi over 2, that one has a 0, but that's going up and to the right this time, so that's more of a tangent curve. And then if I look, I have a negative pi over 2, 0, and then I have an asymptote at negative pi, and the other asymptote right on the y-axis. So this would be my graph.